So now we are beginning the fourth canto of the book, The Quest, 99.1. Last time we saw how the mantra was received by the soul of Savitri and how suddenly a kind of a transformation came into her. And then the poet goes on to describe that Savitri is going to follow the command, the adesh she has received. And early in the morning, well before the sunrise, she is walking out of the palace, riding out of the palace, riding in her carven car, in the golden chariot. Early morning. The last line tells us that thing. In fact, last two sentences. When the pale dawn slipped through night's shadowy guard, vainly the newborn light desired her face. Early morning she was not there in the palace. The palace woke to its own emptiness. The sovereign of his daily joys was far. She has already gone away early morning itself. Maybe she has started at 4 o'clock or so, or 4:30 or 5, something like that. She has gone out, see. The sovereign of his daily joys was far. Her moonbeam feet tinged not the lucent floors. The beauty and divinity were gone. Delight had fled to search the spacious world. What poetry, you see. The delight had fled to search the spacious world. The beauty and divinity were gone from the palace. See. Now, as I said, this must have happened early morning, well before the sunrise. And here we have got a line here. Her moonbeam feet tinged not the lucent floors. Lucent floors of the palace hall. They were not there at all. Now, this lucent floors, we have later on the description of this lucent floor as laid with precious stones, lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli. So that is the floor on which Savitri would walk, and now she has gone out in the chariot in search of her life's partner. Delight had fled to reach the spacious world. Spacious, she was all the while in a small place, in the palace basically, and perhaps beyond that, she did not know the whole wide world. Nor was there in those days World Wide Web to see on the screen the World Wide World. But now the significance here is had fled to search the spacious world. Obviously the search is for her life's partner, whom she must meet in the course of her journey somewhere or the other. Spacious also would mean here in the context that she is not going to find him immediately. She may have to go from place to place to place. he must be a sort of a very rare being, not in the vicinity of the palace around there, you see. Therefore, the spacious. And the very first line in the next canto says, the world was opened before Savitri. Again, the spacious world, the world ways, they corroborate with each other. The continuity of the description is there in that sense, you see. World ways, again it is charged with multiple connotations. The kind of life which Savitri was living in the palace was a particular type of life. But human life has many other aspects which Savitri might not have experienced while she is living as a princess in the palace. As a princess, people will be crowding around her, will be praising her, will try to do things which are acceptable to her. I mean, that is the kind of atmosphere in which she would have grown, although she is also a culturally rich lady, girl. We have seen already the kind of education she had acquired during her growing ages. So, but that is still a particular type of life. The other aspects of life, the ups and downs, the pain and suffering and joy and happiness, all this in there. Again, of course, there are the birds, trees, mountains, rivers, nature, sceneries, palaces, and in the towns, marts, noises, all those things are there. So she has not really seen the various aspects of life. Apart from that, of course, the world ways would suggest to some extent not only the good things of life, but also the calamitous things of life. Savitri has to meet pain, has to experience the anguish of this world, and it is only then she can offer something redeeming to this world, not until then. So the world ways has that whole comprehensiveness in that one single phrase, you see, multiplicity of life. Now, before we take up the description, let me describe the kind of narrative we have in the original story of Mahabharata, Vyasa's Savitri. At this particular point, how the story is narrated by Vyasa in the Mahabharata, this is what we have got. The princess, Ashwapati was offering worships and prayers to the divine goddess, and she was pleased with it, and she offers him a boon of a radiant daughter, and she comes as his daughter, and of course she is named Savitri. So from childhood, then soon she becomes a girl of marriageable age, and therefore the princess grew like the goddess Fortune. You can see Fortune herself incarnate, fair and beautiful. Then in course of time she entered into youthful maidenhood. With large hips and a slender waist, graceful as she was, like a golden statue, people beholding her believed that some heavenly damsel had descended amidst them. They had no idea. So she was so beautiful, so charming, so attractive, as if some goddess has taken human birth here, which is of course a fact also. Now, heavenly damsel, Deva Kanya, that is what Vyasa says. Deva Kanya, Kanya means daughter, Deva, God. Heavenly damsel, her eyes were like full-blown lotuses, and she seemed in her beauty to be flaming with splendor. Indeed, warded off by that splendor, by that beauty, that fiery brilliance, no one approached her asking for her hand. Once, on a festive ceremonial day, she fasted and then took a holy bath from over her head and thereafter went to worship the god. On the banks of the river, there is a temple shrine and she offers worship to God with chanting of the hymns of benediction by the wise ones, by the priests. She offered ritual oblations to Agni, the mystic fire. Then, accepting the remains of offerings as prasad for the great-souled one, well pleased she, who looked graceful like goddess Lakshmi herself, went to her father. She goes to the river bank, offers worship there, takes prasad and flowers, and comes back to the palace, and she wants to share or give it, offer it to her father. First, giving her prasad to her father, she touched his feet in obeisance. Then, that beautiful maid stood with her hands folded close by the side of the king. See, that is the traditional respect for the elders, for the you can say the Indian society. Seeing his daughter grown up in full youth and heavenly and effulgent in form, the king was very much distressed that none had yet come for her as a suitor. Obviously, that is the worry the father will have, that nobody is coming forward, you see, as a suitor, you see. Well, this is the Sanskrit text, I will skip that. Then the king, Ashwapati, speaks to his daughter, "O virgin," see, this is what we have seen just now. The mantra sings in the yoga's ear. So this is what is here described, so to say. O virgin, the time that you should be given in marriage has arrived. But no one has approached me so far asking for your hand. Hence, you should yourself make the choice of a husband, one endowed with qualities befitting you. Tell me then of him whom you would choose, and after giving due consideration to it, I shall make the marriage proposal. Choose him whom you will acceptably desire. What I have heard from the twice born, that is the learned sages of the society, from the twice born, what I have heard from the twice born, well versed, reciting the sacred scriptures, of that I am speaking to you. You should also hearken to these words, O good, auspicious, Shubham. She is Shubham, auspicious, Savitri. One who does not give his daughter in marriage when of right age, such a father is to be reproached. Is to be reproached. A husband who does not have relation with his wife in the period favorable for conception becomes blameworthy. The son who does not take care of his widowed mother should also be considered censurable. Well, this is the social custom of the time. There is a certain foundation. Listen to what I have said and make speed abroad in search of a husband. Do such this deed that by the gods I may not be. Do such this deed that by the gods I may not be put to blame, that I have not given my daughter in marriage the gods will come and blame me for that. And then, having thus spoken, this is what Ashwapati tells to his daughter Savitri. And then what happened? Having thus spoken to his daughter, he then commanded his elderly ministers to make necessary preparations for the journey and to proceed forthwith along with her. So he tells his minister, senior minister, plus a small army to guard her on the way and all that, and tells them to go in search, Savitri, follow Savitri in search of her husband. Preparations for the journey and to proceed forthwith along with her. Blushing somewhat, the high-minded daughter bowed at her father's feet and without a further thought, taking his words as an order, set out at once. Now this particular sentence, we have got a full canto in Savitri here, you see, for this, you see. Canto 3, you see. Riding her golden chariot and accompanied by the elderly counselors, she travelled to several lovely woods of penance of the royal sages, from place to place, from grove to grove, she is travelling. Thus, O Yudhishthira, this story is narrated by Rishi Markandeya to Yudhishthira, and therefore, O Yudhishthira, they are offering her respects to the venerable aged person. As Savitri goes from place to place, she offers respects to the elderly person. By touching their feet, from forest to forest, she went journeying along, thus giving away great wealth in all the places of pilgrimage. Did the princess visit several distant lands and kingdoms inhabited by the most excellent wise persons. She travels on and on. So she's going from place to place in the forest, in the lonely places, traveling in a golden chariot. Well, this is not exactly the Indian scene, but we'll have to provide some proper pictures, some proper illustrations for the whole thing, you see. Through forests to thick lands, she's traveling, moving from place to place constantly, you see. Through the penance groves. Well, this is the region through which Savitri might have travelled. You can see somewhere here there is Madra. On the those 5 rivers, you see Madra, can make out Madra there? Yeah, on the Google map is Madra. And then those are the Sindh, that is Sindhu river is there, and the 5 tributaries of Sindhu are there. And then Kuru, Desh, Panchal, Kosa. See, it goes all the way up to UP, to the eastern side, on the western side, almost to Afghanistan, in those days, Kamboja, and that place. Down below is the Vindhya ranges of mountains. So this whole place, whole belt from between the Vindhyas and the Himalayas is what is called the Aryavarta. Aryavarta. So it is through this region Savitri must have been travelling week after week, month after month, starting from Madra and then going to different places. Now where Shalva is, we don't know. Google does not show that. But our Shalva woods, it shows on the Google map, you see. So,
Could be some indication with modern names.
Modern names? No, these are not modern names. These are the ancient names of. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. These 5 rivers, Punjab means 5. Punjab, 5 rivers. Satluj, Jhelum, those rivers are there, you see. Those are the ancient names of those rivers, you see. And then, of course, they join Sindhu and then go to the Arabian Sea, Karachi, near there. See. So she was going from place to place, constantly moving in a caravan car, the chariot. That is what we'll say here. So this is the description we have got of Savitri going from place to place. The world ways open before Savitri. The whole Aryavatra has now is there now for her to travel. At first, a strangeness of new, brilliant scenes peopled her mind and kept her body's gaze. Obviously, this is new to her. Therefore, at first, a strangeness of new, brilliant scenes. She has not traveled that far to different places like that. But as she moved across the changing earth from place to place, as she moved across from place to place, a deeper consciousness welled up in her. Now, this is Shravendu. See, when Savitri is now moving from place to place through various kingdoms, through various parts of the country, she is of course seeing all of them on the physical plane, but something different happens to her. A deeper consciousness welled up in her. It is that which is now emerging out of her soul, the deeper consciousness. Now, this would not have happened, the deeper consciousness would not have happened had she remained only in the palace. That is important also. Had she remained only in the palace,